Hey folks, Jim Sylvia here. I've always wanted to take a look at the Osborne Anderson part of the John Brown raid story. It's the first day of daylight savings time here, so getting used to where the sun is and getting my bearings straight here. I'm standing in the outline of the large arsenal building here at Harper's Ferry and trying to get a feel for where Osborne Anderson was, because there's no definitive writing, even of his, that tells where he was in the arsenal during the raid. We know he was stationed with Albert Hazlitt on the arsenal grounds, but even he doesn't state if he was inside the buildings or if he was in a building, if it was the large or the small arsenal. I just read the book, which was re-released by our Harpers Ferry Park Association in the bookshop, and he does state that when they're getting ready to leave, once they realize that it's a lost cause for the day, on the second day of the raid, he says, we left the building out the back and we hopped on the railroad tracks. So I think this is a large part of the story that goes untold. So my goal is to trace his steps out of the lower town and how he escaped. So my thinking right now is that if he says that he left the building out the back and went onto the railroad tracks, that he was indeed in the large arsenal building as opposed to the small arsenal, which would have been closer to the road and have a less advantageous view of the armory grounds. Because if you are in the large arsenal here and you look across, so you can just over my head there, you can see the obelisk on top of the railroad embankment, and many of you may know that's the location of the original fire engine house, but down at ground level. If you're in this position right here, you can certainly see the entrance to the armory, which would have been there, but also these houses behind us here. There were a lot of townspeople there, and then this intersection here, High Street and Shenandoah Street, was where several townspeople were shot, and a lot of activity as those people are looking from that intersection to fire across into the armory grounds. What a vantage point from here to be able to not only cover your boss, John Brown, from here, certainly within range, and also to fire into these buildings and up that street, up High Street, at the townspeople who are firing at you. So I think this was the more advantageous position for Osborne Anderson and Albert Hazlitt, who were stationed here. Now, the railroad today is in a little different position than it was at the time. So the railroad would have been a little further back away from us, and there would have been a wall, so kind of like what we see there, but not that particular wall, for them to jump over and then get on the railroad. So what I'd like to do is a series of videos that look at this adventure that Osborne Anderson had after he left this building that we're in right now and made his way out of Harper's Ferry. I think it's pretty amazing. So this will be, I guess, video one in the installment, and I'll try, I guess, to put them together later on. But, I'm working on the John Brown raid and, working on the minute-by-minute account. So, and again, I think this is a story that doesn't get told very often. So I guess we'll call this Osborne Anderson Escape video number 1. And what we're going to do is, after this video standing in the large Arsenal building, we're going to pick up on the other side of the wall behind us here and kind of walk along the train tracks along the river, which is the route that he said he took. So we'll catch up with you another time, and we'll pick up the story from there. So thanks for checking in, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.